Apprehend God in all things, for God is in all things. Every single creature is filled with God and is a book about God. Amen. Happy Labor Day weekend. Thanks. One person. All right, I appreciate it. So, it's Labor Day weekend, and it's interesting to me that in order to celebrate Labor Day, we don't work more, right? In order to celebrate work, we get a free day, right? Isn't that interesting? You think it's Labor Day, let's just go work more. But no, and then implicitly what it really does, what it does for me anyway, I hope for you, what it does for me is that it reminds me of ancient spiritual wisdom. And that is that life is best lived in balance. And we need balance to live a whole life. So we need work, which is good. But we also need rest, which is good. And we also need play, which is really good. Now, all those three things we need. All of those three things we need, I think, is implied in having a day off, a free day, to do with it what you will. All right? Work, rest, play, balance. And our gospel gets into that whole balance thing today. But the balance that the gospel wants us to look at, and I'm going to ask you to look at this with me for a good 30 minutes, okay? We're going to go into this really deeply. Ha ha. Just kidding. So the balance seriously though, the balance that the gospel wants us to look at is the external and the internal. The external and the internal. And essentially what the gospel is saying, if I were to put it in a nutshell, is if your life is just focused on the external, and that's it, and you think that everything that's going on outside of you is what life is all about, and you think that if everything outside of you goes exactly the way you want it to go, that that's what life is, then you've missed the whole other half of life. And that's what's going on inside of yourself. You miss the power, you miss the gift, you miss the struggle, and you miss the joy of knowing your inner world. Okay? So it's the inner-outer balance, not just the work, rest, play balance. It's the inner-outer balance. What's going on, the gospel says, in your heart? You see, the Pharisees, these guys, the Pharisees and scribes, did you hear that in the gospel? Those people, Pharisees and scribes. Now, who are they? Yes, they are the religious leaders of the day. So they're the people who know exactly what you're supposed to do. Right? They know exactly what you're supposed to do. And in this instance, the disciples were supposed to wash their hand in the ritually pure way, in the ritually right way. And now, these weren't bad guys. These were guys who thought, if you do it the right way, that makes life right. If I wash my hands in the right way, was the thinking, then I'm in right relationship with God. And if I'm in right relationship with God, that means my life is good. And I know that I'm a good person. Okay? And Jesus says, man, you're missing it. If all you can focus on is the external of the ritual, then you're missing what's going on in your own heart. And did you see what happened with the candles? I swear we didn't plan that. I swear. That just happened. Because the bottom line is, if we were to thrust this into today and keep it in the religious world, then the washing of the hands would be like the lighting of the candles. Okay, you with me? And you could be sitting there going, "Man, they're lighting those candles wrong. That's the wrong way to do it." And if you don't light those candles in the right way, you're bad. Now, I'm sure nobody out there was doing that. I mean, I don't mean to suggest you were doing that at all. I don't. I really don't. But I'm saying that's what this is like. And you get so focused on the candles, you forget that what's going on inside of your own heart. And what is happening here, Jesus is saying, what is important about what's happening here is what's happening inside of you. What's going on in you? You get me? It's not that the external isn't important, it is. It's just if the external is our exclusive focus, if that's all we look at, then we miss the power of what's going on inside of us every day. And Jesus says, inside our hearts. Okay, but it's not just the religious world where this takes place. It's not just here. It's everywhere. It's our whole life. Okay, you with me? Have you drifted off? No? Are you just intently thinking about the brilliance of what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Good. Then I will proceed. No, so here's how it's playing out in my life. Here's how it's playing out for me. Cindy and I, and this is an example, okay? So Cindy and I started this Whole30 diet. Have you heard of the Whole30 diet? Anybody? Anybody done it? My brother. We're doing it, all right? So it's beyond a diet, though. You see this thing. This is the book to help you along with this Whole30 deal. Okay? But it's beyond just food. Okay, that's not the point. The point's not just food. It's not just the external. The point of this diet is, what's my relationship to food? You see the difference? Okay, what's my relationship to food? Why do I eat what I eat? Because a big part of this thing is trying to get you to pay attention to what you're eating. And why you're eating what you're eating. Tell me, why do people eat food? Okay, so they're hungry. That's what you'd think. Why else do people eat food? Pleasant, comfort. We have a whole genre of food for comfort. Comfort food, right? So people eat when they're stressed. People eat when they're angry. People eat when they're happy. People eat and eat and eat. People eat mindlessly, like I almost did Saturday, right? You know what happened Saturday? Yes, the football game. Sorry about that. By the way. So I was watching that football game and just watching it, and all of a sudden, it's like I wanted snacks. I had to have popcorn because that's like my go-to snack for a football game. Where does that come from? I wasn't even hungry. And if I hadn't been doing this diet, if I hadn't been paying attention to what's going on in me, I probably would have just mindlessly eaten the popcorn. You see, when the external becomes the focus and the exclusive focus, a lot of life becomes mindless repetition. And Jesus says, don't go there. Pay attention to your own heart. Right now, don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about what anybody else is wearing. What's happening with you? In your heart, in your soul, right now. And take this out into your free day, your Memorial Day weekend, and pay attention to what's going on inside of you as you live your life outside. And see what happens. And then write a 5-page report and bring it back to me. Or not. Just enjoy yourself. Take care. Have a great day.